up, guys? Malignaggi for Paulie TV. Big boxing weekend coming up, man. I mean, this is unprecedented. We got 3 cards in 3 days, 3 different corners of the earth. Let's get started, man. I'm gonna preview in this video. I'm gonna be previewing the New York card in Times Square, and we'll get it as the weekend moves on. We'll be talking about all these cards, both the preview and the review. So, Times Square card. First of all, unprecedented outdoors. It's going to be crazy. I'm hearing it probably is a good chance of rain, so they're going to have to prepare and cover the ring. Hopefully they are prepared for that in the right way. You know, these are things that could happen, and typically they do cover the ring in the right way. But we see some disasters with that. I remember being at Klitschko David Hay, and the ring was covered well. But then, if you guys remember, at Usyk versus Daniel Dubois in Poland, the ring was not covered so well. And, you know, even though it was covered, it was very wet inside the ring and whatnot. So hopefully they have that covered in case it does start raining, because I'm hearing a 75 to 80% chance of rain in New York for this card. Having said that, let's get to it, man. I mean, we got 3 good fights, 3 solid fights, 3 fights that generate curiosity. Got Teofimo Lopez versus Brian Barbosa, which to me is probably one of the trickier ones. Listen, they're all pretty good fights, but you know, it's a tricky one because of the enigma that is Teofimo Lopez. Brian Barbosa, he's been a guy who's been solid, but it's sort of been underrated the whole time. Doesn't do anything to crazily wow you, but what he does do that should wow you is he knows how to win. He knows how to win every single time out there, and he's been consistent at that. And one thing about Teofimo, the only consistent thing about Teofimo Lopez is when he's great, but when he's off, he's off. He's consistently inconsistent. There are times when Teofimo looks like a pound-for-pound status type of fighter, you know, an all-time great type of fighter, at least that potential. And then sometimes you look at him and you wonder if this guy's even put on a pair of boxing gloves in the past week, you know, so in the past year. So, I don't know, man. For me, if Teofimo's Teofimo, as good as Barbosa has been, Teofimo can actually look really impressive in this fight. But if Teofimo stumbles a little bit, you got a real shot and an upset here with Brian Barbosa. It's not so much on Barbosa. As good of a fighter as he is, for me, if the best Teofimo Lopez shows up, no matter how good Barbosa shows up, I think Teofimo Lopez wins. So for me, the result of this fight hinges on the fact of which Teofimo Lopez is going to show up, and can the real Teofimo Lopez please stand up, right? Because we can't really get a handle on which one really is the Teofimo Lopez that we want, that is the real one. You know, is it the inconsistent one? Is it the one that has looked spectacular? You know, one of his issues is that he fights to the level of his opposition. Well, Barbosa doesn't bring a lot of fanfare, and he doesn't fight in the most exciting fashion, so he can kind of diminish the energy of the fight. And in fights like that, Teofimo kind of gets lulled into it, and then he ends up looking bad, and you can sort of sucker him into making him look better, even beating him, you know? Because, you know, not only did he end up losing to Kambosos, which was actually an intense fight, but he also, you know, sort of looked sneaky bad against, you know, guys like Sandor Martin as well, you know? So you've got situations where he's not always looking so great. You know, he comes back, looks, you know, wows you in the Josh Taylor fight where you don't expect it. So, you know, then Jermaine Ortiz doesn't look so good again. So really, it's gonna be, I think it hinges more on Teofimo. You know, Barbosa's good, he's solid, and he's gonna show up ready. Barbosa always shows up in the correct fashion. So you're gonna get a ready and prepared Barbosa. And obviously, for being a guy that has never won a world championship and has sort of had to wait unduly long for his shot at the championship, I think Barbosa is going to come possibly even more ready than he's ever been before, you know? And like I said, he's a worthy challenger, and he's a top flight contender who's been, you know, sort of underrepresented in the upper tier of his weight class. We also got Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. I think that might be the main event. I don't even know if the main event is on this card. It's very crazy because I think all 3 of these fights could be main event. Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero is also an interesting one because both guys coming off some controversies. Listen, Rolly, there's moments where he looks really good, and there's moments where he looks horrible too, you know? Now, I don't know. But Rolly can punch a little bit. He's got a good left hook. The issue is Ryan also has a good left hook and can punch a little bit. Both guys have had their inconsistencies as well. Obviously, Ryan coming off the 1-year suspension, so it's mostly about how does Ryan look. And they're putting him in with Rolly, who isn't really a welterweight. Ryan fighting a welterweight at this point, you figure Ryan can fit into the weight class a little bit better than Rolly. Can Rolly take the thunder power that Ryan dishes out? Can Ryan take it too? Because Ryan also, let's face it, he was down with a big left hand in the Luke Campbell fight, and he does get hit with left hooks. And Rolly, for all intents and purposes, think what you want of him, but his best his best shot is also, he's got a pretty good left hook himself. He's also a physical guy. There is some clips of a sparring session that was many years ago on YouTube between these two, and it looks like Rollies physically stronger and bigger. I don't know what you make him take of that, because first of all, it's not the full sparring session, but second of all, I think Ryan's a lot bigger now. Ryan was, at that time, I think Rolly was the physically bigger guy, but Ryan has sort of filled in more as a man now as he's older. And I'm not sure that Rolly Romero is a welterweight. And Rolly Romero, is, even at his best, he may top out at 140 pounds. He may have taken this fight at 147 pounds for the opportunity, because in fighting Ryan Garcia, obviously, is a money-making situation, and you just don't turn it down if you're in Rolly Romero's position after looking so bad when he lost the title against Pitbull Cruz, who himself didn't last long as a champion. So I think Rolly Romero needs a good performance. With Ryan, I think if he just wins, it'll be like, the Ryan Garcia train is back, he's moving, and he'll move along and he'll get a lot of fanfare. While Rolly, on the other hand, I think it's more needing of a good performance. Even if he loses, if he can, trouble Ryan and give a good performance, at least he keeps his name out there. So I think Ryan just needs to win. If he looks great, he looks spectacular, it'll really boom him. I mean, it'll really send him to the moon in terms of, because he's already got a lot of promotability, a lot of fanfare. One thing, disappointment about this card, and maybe because it's gotten lost in all the hubbub of and the hype of the weekend and all these cards that have been signed, and also Turki Al-Sheikh having signed the outdoor card in Times Square. This card in Central Park, over the summer, with Belanga and Shiraz headlining that one. I feel like this one kind of got lost in the mix. It hasn't gotten the fanfare that I would have expected, and especially this Ryan and Rolly Romero fight. I feel like these two are pretty good trash talkers. It could have been some interesting press and fanfare, but I don't know if the media is sort of too split all over the world between all three fight cards. And maybe a lot of the attention is going to Canelo and Inoue also fighting this weekend, or a lot of the attention has also been on the fact that New York also has an outdoor card in the summer. For what I'm hearing, it's going to be in, like I said, in Central Park with Berlanga and Shiraz. The disappointment with that is that I feel like this card deserved a little bit more fanfare than it's gotten. But either way, and I would have liked to see Ryan and Rolly get some shine on the mic and really get it pumped out on socials and whatnot. I haven't really heard a lot. I know that they had some face-offs, and I know they had all that, but it wasn't really what I would have thought they would have made it out to be. At least the potential that it could have had. But regardless, let's see how Ryan and Rolly come back in this fight. I think you probably favor Ryan a little bit here, regardless of the fact that Rolly at times can be dangerous. And like I said, there is the clips where Rolly looks like he's physically, stronger in those YouTube sparring sessions. But again, many years ago, and Ryan's a much bigger guy now. And like I said, Rolly, not sure if he's really a welterweight. The other fight is Devin Haney and JC Ramirez. Listen, I've always gotten on Haney's case for fighting old guys constantly, older shot guys. Ramirez probably passed his best again, but this one's almost more forgivable after the unfortunate situation Devin went through with Ryan Garcia, first getting the loss and then having a change to no contest with the failed drug test that Ryan had. I think Haney's taken a lot of undue criticism. Yes, he could have fought a smarter fight against Ryan, but when you fight a guy in PEDs and he's caught, I mean, that's it. The conversation ends there. The criticism should end there. That's it. The fact that he won 12 rounds is really brave against a guy who's hitting that hard. Plus, he's on PEDs. As Ryan hits hard already. Plus, on PEDs, he was hitting harder. Devin, I think Devin underestimated him. Yeah, his approach to the fight was totally wrong. He never made an adjustment. Of course, all that you can criticize to a degree, but he fought a guy on PD, still went the distance, still fought hard, and that was a really competitive fight, regardless of what you want to say about it, So I actually don't mind Devin taking on a guy who might be a little bit past his best here. And Ramirez isn't like, your Gamboas or your Linares is when Haney fought them, where they were, half a decade shot already, Ramirez, listen, he looked past his best losing part to Barbosa, but Haney obviously needs a re-entry fight against a named sellable opponent, so you can put him on a card like this. He's got it. Let's see how he looks. You'd expect Haney to just box a careful, athletic fight, speed fight. And I think he just gets through this one and sees where you can place him in the future. But Ramirez also has a pretty dangerous hook, and Haney does take those sometimes. But like I said, I think Haney will have adjusted that. I think Haney taking the left hooks by Ryan was more a situation where he underestimated him. He was squaring up, trying to come forward. It's not Haney's fight. It's not Haney's style. I don't even know why he underestimated Ryan to that degree that he was doing that in that fight. because really Haney at his best is probably not going to be as susceptible to left hooks as the Ryan Garcia, if I may have shown you. So I think, having said that, I would lean towards Haney, probably boxing a careful speed fight off the jab, and really not letting Ramirez into range at this point. The way Barboza was able to keep him off balance, if you figure that, then Haney, who has a bit more speed to him, could also, if he fights intelligently, could probably win a one-sided decision. But you know, the wild card is always Ramirez's left hook, and does what if Haney gets hit? Does he get the PTSD from that night against Ryan Garcia? But yeah, man, this is the Times Square card, man. Hopefully, not a lot of rain. Hopefully, no other issues. And I'm curious to see how it's received in New York outside of Times Square. Really, really cool, I tell you, man. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be some complaints. Yeah, it's a Friday rush hour, Times Square. It's gonna be kind of crazy. But I don't know, man. Being a New Yorker, shoot, man, this would have been really cool. I think about this like, oh, man, that's gonna be a cool situation. I think any New York fighter would really, really have loved that chance. And I myself, as a New Yorker, thinking about it, and be like, wow, that's a cool situation. So that's it, man. I'm Paulie Malignaggi, just Paulie TV. I'll be I'll see you guys for the review of this card, and also for the preview of Canelo as well. That'll be coming up soon. And of course, we got no way on Sunday. That's it. I'll see you guys later.